Chapter 13. Sadhaks who worship other devotees. The main thing to be kept in mind is that the Atman Ganesha is the Parabrahma, the Brahmanaspati, the one and only Siddhi that is worth attaining. Following the statement in the doctrine which says, Ekameva Advitiyam Tad Brahma Vedi Vyatam Brahmavid Apnodi Param. There is no other deity who is worshipful and noble for prowess except the one and only Ganesha. This is as good as saying that I only act in the form of Shiva, Vishnu, Shakti and Surya, and the fruits are also granted by me alone. It is necessary to understand the significance of this. Anye nana vidhan devan bhajante tan vrajanti te yatha yathami matim kritva bhajate mam jano khilaha. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, those who worship Shiva, Vishnu, Surya, Shakti and other deities with the expectation of certain fruits, then those are also fulfilled only by me, because I am the particle of power present in each one of those deities. It is me as Atma Chintamani who illuminates their intellect and plays through them. In other words, the worship of these deities is my worship alone, as I am the Atma established in them. The differences of being Vishnu, Shiva and others gives them a sense of pride of being different, which is established firmly in them. This makes them ignore the original source, which is the essence of self-bliss. Therefore, they do not get the fruits of worship of Ganesha as well. Tatha tatasya tam bhavam Purayamyahameva tam aham sarvam vijanami mam na kaschid vibudhyate. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, King Varenya, since I am the Atman in each of the deities and I am the bearer of those forms, they are actually worshipping me alone, but not in the complete sense. They are holding on to only one portion of me, but it is I who gives them their fruits. So Shiva, Vishnu and others are no different from me. This is the mystery and secret that has to be understood. Therefore, even though they may benefit from the worship of that deity, performing my puja first gives them the benefit of a favorable disposition. This has been accepted in the Vedas. Since I am the husband of Siddhi and Buddhi, I am the one who grants the fruits of devotion, and it is I who grant the right frame of mind to the devotees. And again, it is me who gives the deities the wisdom to remain favorable towards their devotees. Since I am the first worshipped in all auspicious and inauspicious activities, I grant the success of those endeavors. I shall tell you how this is done. So listen. All the steps in their order, such as faith, etc., are predetermined. But to ensure that the doer of the action gets success, according to the Vedas, is to worship me first. I should be the first worshipped, even if the beginning of rites towards the ancestors. In a holy place named Ganesh Gaya, people perform the Gaya Shraddha, the ritual performed after the death of a person. As part of the Shraddha rituals, it is necessary to offer Pindadan, which is the offering of balls of cooked rice. In other words, in other places the shlokas begin with Ishana Vishnu, but in Ganesh Gaya the rituals begin with the words Ganeshwaranam, which clearly indicates the Ganesha state. This means that because my name is mentioned in the beginning, I am the one who grants the fruits for inauspicious actions as well. After death, there is a ritual called Uttarakriya. Then also it is appropriate to remember me. Remembering me means chanting the 12 names beginning with Sumukha, by which the rituals of Gaya Shraddha are completed. Therefore, even though the karma may be inauspicious, it is not possible to attain success without worshipping me first. This is undisputable. Besides, Ganesha is non-differentiating in nature. Hence, there is no possibility of differentiating between auspicious and inauspicious actions. King Varenya then asked,
The intellect in causal matter is the form of Omkar, but he becomes Srikar while doing the Leelas of the world. Therefore, duality is demonstrated here, everywhere. But we find that everywhere, greater importance is given to Sri. Why is that so? In reply to this question, Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, Srikar used with reference to the two types of causal matter indicates the beauty of the totality. The intellect of the causal matter is indicated by Omkar. By following the rule given in the sloka, Adi Prakritim Ucharya Yashvat Purusham Uchate, it is necessary to address causal matter first. By the same rule, Sri too has to be addressed first. Causal matter is called Sri, but it is one-sided. That is to say, Vishnu's wife Lakshmi is addressed as Sri. So it becomes one particle of creation. The meaning of the whole is that the name of Mahasiddhi is Sri. The word Sri, meaning beauty, is used to express the glory of beauty everywhere. Therefore, in some places, Om Ganesha is used, while in other places, Shri Ganesha is used. It is used as considered appropriate. The Shastras refer to causal matter as mother and consciousness as father, mentioning the mother first followed by father. Therefore, the tradition prevailing everywhere is that Ganesha as the husband of Siddhi and Buddhi or Lakshmi Narayan is used as appropriate. So, any doubt regarding association is clear. Since I am the origin of all causal matter, whatever feeling that a devotee may have in his heart, it is only for me, and accordingly the devotees will receive the fruits thereof from me. Since the Atma Chintamani established in the mental vital consciousness substance is me, I know everybody, but nobody knows me because there is no possibility of anyone else being established in my mental vital consciousness substance. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, since I am the Atman in all, one does not become eligible to sing my bhajans without first getting the rightful authority. That is why nobody sings my bhajans. They worship Shiva and others. Through their worship, they become deserving of devotion to me. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam navidu kama mohita naham prakashatam yami ajnanam papa karmanam. He says, I, the Atman in all, am the husband of Buddhi. I am Chintamani, whose form is basically non-differentiated in nature. Therefore, I am not experienced as an individual. Nevertheless, for the upliftment of devotees, I manifest as Gajanana and other forms. Still, I am not understood by people who are attached to their tendencies because their minds are filled with attachment to the body and its pleasures. Such a mind-conscious matter cannot be illuminated with the knowledge of the Supreme. Since they are engaged in the enjoyment of the body, the light of my form and spirit cannot enter their heads. I, Chintamani, am the Atman in all, the husband of Buddhi and the power behind everything. Even though I am present in their hearts, they cannot see me. Such is the influence of Maya. Even though I am in a manifested form, they have no inclination or desire for devotion to me. I do not allow all that to happen since they do not have the eligibility. To make them eligible, I create the desire in them to be devoted to other gods so they get purified and become eligible. I give them the intelligence to become devoted to me. What is the nature of the fruits of devotion to Ganesha and what way is it the highest? Yasmritva tyajati prana ante mam shraddhayanvita sasyatya punaravrittim prasadan mama bhubuja. Shri Gajanana says, when you are totally devoted to me, I am near you even on earth. If a sadhak who is devoted to me may not have got the actualization in yoga, in spite of regular practice, I still make him remember me at the time of his death. As a result of which he is blessed and gets Swananda Loka after leaving his mortal coils. This means that he does not have to enter into the cycle of birth and death again. This is the greatest fruit that my devotees get. In Swananda Loka, his body is luminous.
He completes the remaining practice of yoga and thereafter is absorbed into me. He attains permanent bliss by attaining the siddhi of being in the state of Brahma. This highest reward is not attainable through worship of any other god. Yam yam devam smaran bhaktya tyajati svam kalevaram tat salokya maya tat bhaktya narotamaha. Devotees of Shiva remember their Lord Shiva at the time of their death. Those devotees attain Shivaloka after their death. After exhausting all merits by enjoyment in Shivaloka, they again take rebirth on earth. This is described in all Vedas. In other words, they do not get permanent ascent. What one practices throughout one's lifetime is what determines the loka at the time of death. Why are such people called Narottama, or the best among men? Every person does actions that have consequences. Instead, the practice of devotion to God is better. This is because it fulfills the purpose of attaining a human body. Hence, those who practice devotion by repeating the names of their deity during worship and other practices are considered Narottam, or the best among men. Besides, the fruits of devotion to Ganesha are the best since it gives liberation. Ataschahar nishambhupa स्मर्तव्यो नेकरूपवान् सर्वेषां याप्यहं गम्यन् श्रोतसामर्णवो यथा. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, remembering Ganesha continuously day and night may even result in automatically remembering other deities like Shiva and others. How is that possible? When we remember Shiva and others, an impression of their form with specific attributes is established in our memory. The glory of their form without attributes is different. We do not get connected to them through passionate worship of their form. Therefore, chanting their names cannot connect us to their Brahma state. The reason is that Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma with attributes represent Sattva, Tamas and Rajas, the root of the three gunas. The ego of the three of them is Surya. The body of the three gunas with the Atma within them is Adi Shakti. They are dependent on each other, but their interdependence is not affected by the desire or devotion of the sadhak towards them. Therefore, remembering the three with attributes represents the three gunas, and the one is able to attain their respective lokas alone. But Ganesha with attributes is the form of Omkara. He being the Atman in all, the memory of his form without attributes is present even in the form with attributes. An explicit description of this is available in Ganesh Purana. Similarly, in the Vishnu Purana also, after describing the three qualities, according to the occasion, pure Sattva Guna is attributed to Ganesha with attributes. This is possible because of the Turiya state of Ganesh, which is beyond the three gunas. The secret here is that where the two gunas, namely Rajas and Tamas, are mastered, pure Sattva gets demonstrated. But when all the three gunas, namely Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, are mastered, the mastery of Sattva Guna is demonstrated, which is the characteristic of Turiya. The same description of the superiority of pure Sattva appears in Vaishnavi scriptures too. So, with reference to the three gunas, the pure Sattva Guna of Ganesha is to be understood. That is why Ganesha is considered the glory of the Turiya state. Besides, we can find two kinds of causal matter here. Maya with the three gunas and Maya without the three gunas. Taking this into cognizance, Maya without the three gunas is pure Sattva Maya. Her essence is of Turiya nature. Story of Ganesha in the Shiva Purana. There is a story in the Shiva Purana about how Ganesha was created out of the dirt of Parvati's body. The secret to be known here is that Parvati created a boy from the dirt of her body. He was destroyed by Vishnu and Shankar. Thereafter he was given the head of an elephant and an attempt was made to revive him once again. But he could not be brought to life. At that time, there was a heavenly declaration, and by following those instructions, Shiva and others invoked Omkara. It was then that the boy with the head of an elephant became alive. This means that the boy who was originally created from the dirt was actually dead. But due to the invocation of Omkar, the body of the boy was pervaded with the divine capabilities and he became Ganesha, though the original Jiva's connection of consciousness had not ended. The significance here is that the description of Ganesha's form with attributes in the form of Omkar appears everywhere. Therefore, he actually was the bearer of the glory of the form without attributes. So, remembering him is like being endowed with all qualities of his being, with and without attributes, and remembering that glory. There is no doubt that the same story does not apply to Shiva and others. Therefore, singing the bhajans of Ganesha is like singing the glory of the embodiment of the collective good qualities, since he is the origin of all qualities and he acts the role of each of the bearers of those qualities. Therefore, remembering him is equal to remembering all the others. There is a metaphoric example regarding this. The origin of all rivers is the ocean, and it is also the place where the rivers finally find their destination. All the rivulets and streams reach the ocean and pour their waters into it. The waters of the oceans rise up to form clouds due to the heat of the sun. These evaporated drops of water form clouds, which then pour down as rain. Once again, they flow as rivers and streams and flow back into the ocean. In short, just as the ocean is the source of all flowing water, as well as their destination, so also Ganesha is the origin of all and also the destination. The origin of all creation is Omkar, and that is Ganesha. So, if we remember Ganesha, it is like becoming one with all the animate and inanimate things of creation. Otherwise, there is no other method of remembering all the animate and inanimate things, because the ending of all the non-differences of all the animate and inanimate things is possible to attain only because of Ganesha. There is no other way out.